Welcome to the Sacred Healing Institute Summit number 5. We are a highly conscious e-platform focused on emotional intelligence, depth psychology, spirituality, empowering CEOs, senior executives, startup founders, innovators, and Stanford leaders. This is an executive roundtable welcoming our sacred guest, Dr. Edward M. Smink. Today, we dialogue about ESG's skillful solution of self-care bias in organization. Transform your organization. ESG, environmental, social, and governance are criteria, a set of standards for a company's operation that socially conscious investors use to screen potential investments. Social criteria examines how it manages relationship with employees, suppliers, customers, and the communities where it operates. How's your organization doing today? Today, we focus on how do we manage compassion fatigue and burnout of the employees. We'll explore how leaders of the organization can be caregivers to their employees by providing opportunities for self-care. We'll further explore the cultural taboos that prevent developing skills of self-care. Now, our sacred speaker, Dr. Edward Smink, is the founder of the Soul of Caregiving coaching practice, is an in-demand speaker, coach, and author of the Soul of Caregiving, a caregiver's guide to healing and transformation. Dr. Edward holds an associate degree in nursing, BA in psychology, MA in counseling psychology, and Ph.D. in depth psychology from Pacifica Graduate Institute. He's a former registered nurse and healthcare executive in mission, values, spirituality, ethics, end-of-life care, and community health. He holds title as board-certified chaplain with the National Association of Catholic Chaplains and is an associate coach with an International Coaching Federation. He attributes his skills from his experiences at the bedside as well as overcoming severe compassion fatigue and burnout. He offers hope to those suffering from compassion fatigue because he knows it's possible to move from isolation and fear to renewed hope and energy. Welcome, Dr. Edward.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
And I'm the CEO of Sacred Healing Institute. I am the direct descendant of King Sejong, lineage of the Joseon Dynasty of Korea, also a committee member of the Stanford GSB Lead Impact Team, collectively looking at ways to shift priority from shareholders to stakeholders to improve ESG metrics. Dr. Edward, could you share a bit about your role in the world in one succinct minute, and we'll move into the context and question.
Well, if there's a stage, I'll perform, so I'll try to stay to 1 minute. Overcoming compassion fatigue that led to severe burnout, I'm committed now to reach out to caregivers, especially who feel lost and feel that they cannot transform in their lives back into their original roles in different ways. I did suffer from burnout and compassion fatigue, and I'll explain the differences, but that's my mission. My mission is to reach out as a speaker, as a guest today, and also as a author of my book, The Soul of Caregiving, a caregiver's guide to healing and transformation.
Dr. Edward, I had a look at your bio further into your book, and you're doing something amazing, a little bit deep. I would like to welcome Stefan and Monique. Hello.
Hello, happy to be here.
Nice to have you here. So I'll go into the article. According to Hospitality Insights, looking at the team management overcoming bias in the workplace, it says, how does unconscious bias affect the workplace? Unconscious bias can play a huge and rather destructive role in workplace decision-making if you allow it to do so. Remember that all biases are nothing more than random generalization and personal preferences, not rooted in facts, and should never be a part of corporate decision-making. Now, there are common types of unconscious bias: affinity bias, stereotyping, confirmation bias, halo effect, attribution bias, and recent bias. Once the organization recognizes bias, we can take a crucial first step towards creating a productive and inclusive work environment. Now, Dr. Edward, I would like you to guide us with your insights. What cultural taboos or narrative are there that prevent people from developing skills of self-care?
Well, in my research, I discovered that most cultures have a sense of having difficulty in asking for help. We think we're invincible. And because we're invincible, we think we can solve everything ourselves. And that's the cultural platform in which most cultures come from. And you could just think of your own particular culture, how it's influenced in the world today about asking for help. So the three cultural taboos that I discovered is the first one has to do with, can I acknowledge there's something within me that needs to be addressed? Oftentimes, we are criticized if we acknowledge, gee, there's something I need to address. For example, the first responders, the police who entered that classroom in Texas, what did they experience? How can they absorb that tragedy and acknowledge that it really affected them? We have normal experiences to traumatic events, and it's not a mental illness. It's normal being who we are. So the first is, can I trust what's going on within me? And the second is, in that sense of trust, the second taboo, can I reach out to another person whom I can trust? That person could be a spouse, it could be a good friend, it could be a clergy person, it could be a counselor, but someone that will hear me. Caregivers don't want advice, they just want their story to be heard.